This poem, it's a really deep poem, and I think it hits home for many people. It's really my experience within the workforce, not just non-for-profits, but just the workforce as a Black person in the workforce. That's essentially what it's about. Yeah. They treat him like a prophet, but no peace be upon him. Just constant like problems and diversity topics. That line specifically is a play on words. I use the word prophet to define myself as like a value. So they treat him like a prophet, they treat him like a value, but an expendable value. But it's also play on words when I say prophet, because also prophets within religious groups are like people who are like anointed and people who, basically people who are anointed and part of like a religious group. People look up to prophets. Coming up with 1,000 ways to solve them, gotta choose one or all of them and get involved in. So when working in the workforce, you just have to solve everything, but they don't really give you that much leeway. So you want to do it a certain way, but they want you to do it their way, but they don't know what they're doing. So you have to come up with a solution. They call it a not-for-profit, but the whole time they're teething profits in the name of diversity topics. God sent words to tackle these problems, but looking stupid at the end when you're left at the bottom. So that line, God sent warriors, is another play on words, because God literally sent people to tackle these problems, but also the term God sends is like someone who's also anointed, someone who's also righteous. So God sent warriors to tackle these problems. But looking stupid at the end when you're left at the bottom, because you may have these great ideas, but then they don't always approve them. Ideas with millions but get sent through a door that's revolving. The cycle continues. Can't forget about diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's a bandage solution. Always paint us as the one who's losing. My community is always the one who's struggling. We need reparations for our revolution, not in the backhanded forms of lip service and political ass kissing. Whose side of history are you choosing? I find in the workforce, they'll do a lot of diversity, equity, inclusion stuff, which is great, but it is just a bandage solution. It's just like, okay, we'll get more people of color in our workforce, but they don't necessarily change their habits. And I think habits is something that needs to be changed if you want actual change to happen, versus, okay, we hired a bunch of colored people, we're good, check. Like, it's just checking off a box versus actually doing the deep work to ask yourself, like, why am I hiring this person? Like, why does this matter? Why is this important? Why is representation important? Because it goes back to historical things where this never really had the opportunities, or like certain jobs were like gate kept. So just making it more diverse, but also tackling the actual problems, not just checking off boxes. Monetize off the crimes and lies under the disguise of colonial ties. Exploit after exploit like a chain of bad choices. Nations suffer greatly while suppressing our voices. Unless we got the backbone and grit to say, bitch. I mean, at the end of the day, all this is under this guise of colonial behaviors. People get exploited to make, basically people get exploited to make these companies even more richer. So you do have to kind of separate yourself from the job and yourself too, because you can get burnt out. That's probably my biggest lesson with working not-for-profits, but just also the workforce in itself too. You just have to create those boundaries. You treat him like a prophet, but no peace be upon him. Just constant like problems and diversity topics. So they get hired at a company just to check a few boxes, as if one person speak for the entire community's hurt. Money talks, but hurt talks louder and sells quicker. You know what else sells quick? A pop star coming to perform in Toronto, in which the city makes yet another bandage solution to end homelessness for a week. Clearly, money makes its presence known out in the streets. That line is in reference of kind of what happened when a pop star like Taylor Swift came, and we have a homeless problem in Toronto, so we need better solutions to tackle it. But I find it was really sad that we put him in a hotel for a week, and then put them back on the streets. I think we need a better solution. We don't necessarily need to make Toronto look very pretty. Like, if Toronto has some issues, let's address it, but we don't, like, there needs to be more. There needs to be more action involved when it comes to dealing with our problems, because everything so far is just a Benny solution. They treat him like a prophet, but no peace be upon him. Just constant life problems and diversity topics. Don't get it twisted. I appreciate being in spaces where historically it's been a challenge to get into. You gotta break the system within to create change. Talk your shit, speak your truth. Even if that means taking up space like an elephant in a room. But I feel more like a hawk observing from a bird's eye view. It's still not a safe space if I have to watch how I move and know the people who carry the power. Gotta be buddy-buddy with people who got no love for me, but instead I set up boundaries like a barbed wire fence surrounding me. So that line, again, big play on words, where I'm supposed to, and I do, take up space in a room, just already kind of being a bit different in a room. But I also feel like I observe my surroundings too. I observe where I work, who I work with, how the work gets done. Even certain things, if I want things to get done and they're not getting done, okay, like why? Like, what's behind this? So I observe all of my situations like a bird, just from a bird's eye view. If you become the people you surround yourself with the most, my core consists of peace. I pray for peace all around me and within me, for my community and even my enemies. Because we all got a common enemy. Might not be true to you, but it's true to me. There's clearly a right and a wrong, and people still losing their rights, and that's wrong. Two rights make a left, but we've been left out for far too long. This feels like a generational catch-up, and we're trying to slow down. Muster up the energy to keep going, because ain't no turning around. I can't get too attached to the narrative of the struggle. I love my community. We have more than enough power to change the narrative. I'm trying to make it out. Our revolution is imperative. Leave the poetry to transmute words, energy, and thoughts. Play this poem at the revolution when it drops. Yeah, our revolution is imperative. We will break free from the system and even the shackles of our own mind as well. And I also say leave the poetry to transmute all this energy and words and everything that goes on in my mind, all in a poem. You know, I think that's what poetry does, and I love poetry. They treat him like a prophet, but he maintains his peace, like the prophets. Peace be upon you. That reference is just a line I take from Islam, peace be upon you. Basically, it's like a greeting almost. You just kind of can greet your brothers or your sisters with peace be upon you. So, peace be upon you. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, Ben. Amazing. Oh gosh. It's like stuck in between. All right, do it again.